Welcome to the Panic Button, everyone. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie, and oh my God, please wash my eyes with bleach.
Lillytino, back in virality.
If we didn't tell you, how would you know?
So he's going viral because he's defending men in women's sports.
Is that why the rainbow fucking gear?
The headband.
Sweatbands?
Oh, yeah.
Trans women are the best at sports. Swish. The testosterone surging through our muscles gives us super strength. Well, most trans women don't have much, if any, testosterone in their system, but that doesn't mean we aren't still better. After all, we do have the biological advantage. It's not like athleticism is determined by anything other than what's between your legs. But if that's true, it means that some trans women are great athletes.
I would like to see him step on that skateboard one more time.
So he's been watching some Dylan Mulvaney is what I'm seeing.
He would fly off that thing and bust his butt so hard. I have a personal experience with this.
I broke my foot on a longboard.
I don't understand what his point is. Is he trying to say that trans women who are men are great at sports, but joking? They're
He's
not good
trying
at
to be
sports.
sarcastic, but at the same time, you're being like, this is the most facts I've ever heard Lillytino spit. You had testosterone when you were developing those muscles. That's what makes them bigger. That's what makes them larger in capacity. That your XY chromosomes make it so you can grow bigger muscles, unlike women. So if we were to give you testosterone, you'd have bigger muscles than if we gave a woman testosterone. Are you not here for the science lesson? You're only using it for the small facts that you think benefit you without looking at the bigger fact, which is that you grew up with testosterone. That's why you're giant compared to regular women, normal women.
You can give a man estrogen, but it's not going to change his size, his height, the size of his hands, feet, length of his arms, lung capacity, and so on.
You can take a bear out of the forest, but if you put it in your house, he's gonna rip you apart.
Are great athletes, but some are flat out bad, just like cis women. And trans women lose at sports all the time, but that doesn't get reported on. Because they want you to be scared of us, like we're taking something from you. And the very small number of trans women...
They want you to be scared of us as if we're taking something from you.
Like maybe titles or rewards, trophies, scholarships, women's sports in general.
The thing is whether the trans woman loses or wins to a woman, the fact remains we don't, and they shouldn't be, in female sports because they're biological men. Also, they have to go into the locker rooms with women, which can get very messy. And it's very invasive. So
it is wrong to know that you are bigger and stronger and go into something and dominate it, knowing that you have the advantage.
Right. All because you think you're something that you're not.
He thinks he's like Bill Nyeing us or something with this like different cuts and everything, and it's really weird. Like you're trying to show me that you're bad at sports, but it's still, every time I see you, I think, oh my God, my hand is so much smaller around a football. Oh my God, that track feels like twice as long to me because I have shorter legs. This doesn't even faze you?
Can't reach the ball because your arms aren't long enough.
I can't dunk a basketball because I'm 5'1" on a good day.
Men are biologically 5 inches taller than women.
Yeah, most men are like biologically almost a foot taller than me. Like I said, I'm 5'1" on a good day.
So let's take sports out of it for a second. If we were to make a trans woman and a biological woman fight each other...
Is that still sport?
Yes. Chances are, the biological male is going to win.
Yes.
Now, just because you lose doesn't mean that you belong in female sports.
The exception makes not the rule.
Exactly. And bodies compete, not identities. A male body shouldn't be competing in female sports where female bodies are competing. Even though sports is inclusive, competition is not. That's why we have winners and losers.
If you want to do like a league, which is where you like pay money to go do it in your local town, and then you have like a party at the end at like Pizza Hut, do the league. Nobody cares about you going and entering small scale sports where they agree to be co-ed. Nobody cares about that. They care about you going and taking titles from women who've been working very hard to have a man who is failing on one hand now succeed past them.
Also, Nick Contino, a.k.a. Lillytino, he's not an athlete. So his ridiculous attempt to perform these sports, it's not really proving the point.
It's an
because
unrealistic reference point because he doesn't
Yeah.
actually have any capability. So if you and I were to go up against Tino,
Yeah.
too much Tino. If you and I were to go against Nick Tino here in a competitive sport, we would lose almost every time,
Yeah.
unless we had maybe a skill he didn't have. Like, let's say you played tennis for 2 years and he did track and field. There will be an advantage because you have experience, but that's about it. 90% of the time, he's going to win because he's physically bigger.
When I was in Catholic school, we had mixed
Co-ed.
co-ed gym time. And a lot of the time we would play dodgeball. And the boys always wrecked the girls. And we were 6, 7, 8, always wrecked us. Why? Because science is science. And men, boys, are biologically better at sports because of their strength and et cetera than women are.
They excel in physical tasks, while women usually excel in mental tasks.
Women who do compete do it for the love of the game, not because they need attention or couldn't win at men's sports.
Yes,
That's actually
why.
wrong. That's very wrong. They made women's sports because women couldn't compete with men. It's not like it's not like medical fields where this one woman surmounted to the top. She snuck through pretending to be a boy. No, it's not like that though. It's usually it's the men that come in and then dominate the women's field. You don't hear. Name me one story. One story, please. I haven't heard one yet. Name me one story where a trans man dominated in a physical activity against a trans woman. I know running is maybe the exception,
Long distance.
but like, name me one.
They haven't. Because if they have, they would have been posting it everywhere. So obviously.
Not golf, not swimming, not baseball,
Not
not. I mean, gosh, you're saying we don't separate it from sex? We don't separate sexes in sports? There's a whole second game of baseball because women can't play baseball. You have softball.
Softball.
They have their own baseball. Like, are you kidding me? And yes, I know men can play softball, but that's the point. Is it was so complicated that they made another one and then they gave that to the women. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying women can't compete in sports. They totally can, but it's just that men have a more aggressive tendency that people want to watch. It's like watching a battle.
Yes.
That's what they want to see.
He said they compete in women's sports
For the love of it.
for the love of it. Well, you could do that extracurricular activities. You know,
Yeah.
you could do it that way. But when it comes to competition, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. And if a trans woman is competing in female sports, that means that he wants to win over women. And also it means that he can't compete with men, obviously,
Or else he'd be with men still.
or else he'd be competing with the men. But because he thinks he's a woman, then all the rules have to change. The main rules have to change for him. Don't they say that they're only 1% of the population? So why do we have to change everything around for them? Inclusivity?
Yeah, so that they don't feel hurt.
Well, how about they...
Because it's like a knife to the heart.
Okay. Well, why don't they compete in the Paralympics then? Wouldn't that make more sense?
Why are you asking me these kind of questions? You think I actually have an answer for you?
You would be able to see the difference between someone who
Is physically handicapped.
and someone who
is
is mentally confused.
inept. What's the right term, guys? Let me know in the comments because this is weird.
If men can compete in women's sports because they think they're men, then they can also compete in the Paralympics if they think they're disabled. And you can tell the difference between someone who's physically disabled and someone who's not.
I think that's
Just like you can tell the difference between a man and a woman.
you can, but because they changed the way people's minds think, they can convince you otherwise.
They
They're
change
like,
the way people's minds
They
think.
think they changed. Like so if in Lillytino's mind, Lillytino is a woman to you because they said that, then you must agree that they can play in the sports because that's the same logic. They're convincing you that what you're seeing is an illusion. Don't look at the man behind the green cloth.
The green curtain.
Same thing.
Yeah. That's manipulation. That's
That's what all of this is. Why do you think they aren't trying to manipulate us into believing that they don't have the genitals they do have or the brain of this other gender? Like that's even a thing you can comprehend.
Nah, that can't be true. Trans women are definitely the best at sports.
You know, it was funny when they were kicking out trans people, specifically trans women from the military. They would use the argument of, so we're too strong to play in sports, but we're too weak to be in the military. And I found that argument absolutely retarded, because it's no. You're too strong to play against women, not playing sports.
And you're too mentally unwell to be serving our country with a gun in your hand.
Yes.
We can't trust you to know what the mission is at this point.
Now, there are jobs in the military where you don't need to use your weapon. You're not on the front lines. But if I can't join the military, or a friend can't join the military because they have anxiety or depression, then it doesn't make sense for someone who thinks they're a woman, which they are not, to be in the military, because that's some sort of mental disability.
Okay, so do you have more Lillytino, or is that all the Tino?
Actually, what I did see was that
Ditzy. The petition is at almost 500,000 signatures.
to remove him from TikTok. Now, this is because even people in the trans community that we don't agree with.
Oh no, there are people who are like completely wrong, like other side, not wrong. I don't want to say wrong, because I don't think there's right and wrong. There's different opinions. There are people on the completely opposite opinion of us who cannot stand Lillytino because it's so obvious
That he's doing
that it's a
damage
ploy.
That he's doing damage to the
That it's a
trans
con
community.
job. Con job Tino over here.
Lily cosplaying Tino.
Lily con job Tino, I'm telling you. They're over here, give me money, I'm getting a surgery. Just kidding, I just fucking dinked my forehead with a knife. That's why I have a little hole here now.
A little dent in the cranium.
I don't even know if any surgery happened or didn't happen, but it's just weird.
But he's making all the points for men and women's sports that have already been debunked. All these arguments that he's making have already been
And like
debunked.
the gratuitous way that you were like, oh, but they're so much stronger. You're saying it with an attitude, but it's correct information. Saying something but with a tone doesn't make it incorrect. Donald Trump's our president.
Well, he said trans women are better at sports, and that's actually not true. They're better at sports against women, not against men.
Right. You leave it so vague and nondescript that you can say whatever you want to say, and because it's an internet video, there's no pushback.
Yeah, and he will get attention for this.
That's all he wants.
But the thing is that he will get attention from this, but he'll also get negative attention for this. And the petition signatures, that number will go up more and more.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he actually wants that.
What's the number? What's the number do you think that they take him down?
I don't know if they actually would. TikTok is pretty woke.
And likes money. And Lillytino brings money.
Yeah. It's like kind of like how Twitch doesn't get rid of Hassan.
I think it's because if you watch a car accident, you're watching it burn, and like you can't go away till you know it's done. And so like, what's the done?
What's the done for Lillytino? That's a really good question. What do you guys think?
Where does this end? Because I'm tired. I'm tired. You gotta be tired. Aren't you fucking tired yet? Look at the dog. The dog's exhausted. Really.
I think we're all a little bit tired, but as long as he's making money off of pretending to be a woman, then I'm going to make money off of him pretending to be a woman.
And if you agree with that, you should like, comment, and consider subscribing.
And subscribing to
If you
our
want-
memberships. Anyway, have a good day.
Bye!